So welcome back. Now let's talk about the second aspect of the wristwatch, which is the shape of the dial. So earlier I spoke about the size and the weight, and I told it has to be bigger. The dial has to cover at least 80-85% of the surface area of your wrist, and heavier the better. And I've also explained why. Now let's talk about the shape. Again, before I talk about the shape of the dial, of the watch in particular, let me talk about the shapes in general, so that it becomes easy for you to understand when I talk about the dial. What are the three or four most important shapes we use in our life? The first obviously being the circular or the round shape, right? Now, what is a round shape associated with, or a circle, or a zero, okay, is associated with? If you see, most celestial bodies in the universe are basically circular. The drop of a ocean or a drop of a water, any water, is basically circular. Why? Because the general shape, when something is formed, as I said, all the celestial bodies, including the planets, and they are all basically circular. What is basically round or circular stands for? Now, a circle has a perfect 360-degree angle. I'm sure all of you know this. Now, but what is important is it has smooth edges. Circle or round shape is the only shape which has smooth edges. None of the other shapes will have all smooth edges. So circle means smooth. That is why wheels of all the automobiles are circle, round, because the movement becomes very smooth. Now I'm sure you are already understood what I'm going to explain about round shape. So if you are wearing a round shaped dial like I'm wearing, most of the people wear that, knowingly or unknowingly, mostly unknowingly. That means the person normally will have good relationship with others, right? Because it has smooth edges rather, means less friction. Less friction means less friction with others in terms of relationship. So people who want to enjoy good relation, who want to be good with most or everybody, go ahead with your round shaped or circular shaped dial, because that signifies smoothness. If you're expecting better coordination, better liaising, as I said, better relationship, circular or round shaped dial should be your first choice. Obviously, that's my preference. So all my watches basically are circular in terms when I talk about the dial, right? So this is about circular. Now let's talk about the second most used or worn dial shape, which is either a square or a rectangle. So if you see both a square and a rectangle, they have four angles, right? Four edges, each has a 90-degree angle. But if you see, all the four angles or edges are sharp. As I said earlier, only round the circle has the smooth angles. Rest all have sharp. So when you talk about square or rectangle, they have four sharp angles or edges. That means what? So obviously they will not have that much good relation with everyone. So there may be some friction. Secondly, when we talk about lying boundary within the limitation, not crossing limits like Lakshman Rekha, right? So we think of, or we generally talk about following the discipline, being punctual, going by the rule book, etc. So somebody who is basically wearing a square or a rectangle shaped dial means that person expects others to follow the rules. They themselves generally are, somebody who follows the rules, the law of the land, or the company established laws or social norms. So they are very particular about that. They are also very disciplined and punctual, and they expect other people also to be very disciplined and punctual. So these are generally the traits of are the potential outcomes of people who wear a rectangle or a square shaped dial. That means what? If you are a boss and if you want your team to follow your orders, to follow the set norms of the company, want them to be disciplined, punctual, then you should suggest them to wear not a circular but a square or a rectangle shaped dial, and you yourself should wear one first. That makes you somebody who is more uh, administrative oriented, administration oriented, right? So somebody who is a good administrator, as I said, who basically follows the law and the rule book and being punctual and disciplined. So this is what you can expect from the circular or the rectangle shaped dial. So this is the second most shape in the wristwatches, along with or after the circular, the round one. Let's talk about the third. Though it is little less, but especially I have seen many females wearing a triangle or a pyramidal shaped, dial watch. Now, what is a pyramid or a triangle or a three, particular lined shape, right? So it has three lines rather than four, like in the case of a rectangle or a square. So in general, let's talk about pyramid. So what is a pyramid famous for? Pyramid is supposed to attract and store cosmic energy. Pyramid also is a symbol of growth, faster growth. That is why you see a lot of people meditate under a pyramid. Pyramid shapes are becoming very popular now. In fact, there is Pyramid Valley in Bangalore and Hyderabad and many places now. Mummies were preserved in pyramids. As I said, it is supposed to, or it is known to attract and store higher amount of cosmic energy. Now, if somebody consciously wearing a pyramid shaped or a triangular shaped wristwatch means the person is growth oriented. So they expect quicker growth. They can also be little restless because they expect faster growth. So like this, each shape has its own significance. So to understand the significance of the shape of the dial, first you have to understand the shape in general. So here I have only explained three shapes: the round, the rectangle, square, and the triangle. Right. So there are now all kinds of different shapes dials available. So be, as I said, smart. Don't just pick up anything because everything will have a say. Everything will have an eventual outcome as fortunes. So this is about the shape of the dial. Okay, so earlier I've already explained the size and the weight of the dial. So in the future videos, I'm going to explain a lot more, including the color, whether it should have more dots and dashes, and what should be the numbers inside, whether you should have a watch with the metal chain, or whether it should have a leather strap, etc. So hope you are finding this interesting and most importantly useful, because as I said, as a numerologist, I'm saying, though I say your name is extremely important, which will determine your fortunes, equally there are many other things, okay, so which will impact your life, and one of them is the wristwatch. Just to give an example, I suggested one of my client to wear uh, a wristwatch, a green color wristwatch like what I'm wearing, but I told him it should have only one or two numbers. Preferably, it should have 12. And since he's a businessman, I said 12 and 6. Choose a watch only where there is only, in which only there is 6 and 12, and no other numbers should be there. And somehow he managed to get that. You know what is the outcome in the last 2 months? He started going to gym. He's focusing on himself. His financial position has started improving. So what numbers are there on your dial also is equally important. So which I'm going to explain later when we talk about numbers, right? So hope, as I said, you are finding it very interesting and useful. So watch all the videos, all parts of videos till part 8, and then you decide which wristwatch you should buy. Okay, and then consciously go ahead and buy one, and you will understand and experience, okay, the outcomes within maybe 2-3 months of wearing your new wristwatch. So see you in the next part.